yeah, overall, I'd say pretty successful project. These stairs go into the basement from the outside. They've been in bad shape since we bought the house. The home inspector did not like them one bit. But 4 years later, I'm finally getting around to fixing this because we want to finish the basement eventually. First, I gotta take down these old stairs and the deck they're attached to. Due to the extent of the rot on the bottom and just how old this thing is, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm going to replace and rebuild the entire thing. Demolition was actually easier than I thought it'd be. I removed a few deck boards on top, then took a reciprocating saw down the middle. Then I cut everything into pieces small enough that I could carry out of the basement. Took maybe 20 minutes to take everything down, and then maybe another 20 minutes to move all this old stuff out. Alright, I've got everything cleared out. I'm going to start by arranging this post here. This is going to be my main landmark, and it's going to go at this front right corner of the landing, and it's going to attach to the ceiling right around here. Now this 4x4 is not rated for ground contact. I did this on purpose because I want to minimize the amount of pressure treated wood that I'm using. I'm only going to use pressure treated 2x6s along this wall here because it's going to be touching the wall directly. But for this post, I'm going to put on the bottom of it one of these little feet, and this will keep it far enough off the ground so that moisture wicking shouldn't be an issue. Alright, we're level. Let me make sure I'm level this way. Now, got my mark. Okay, I just ended up cutting a little notch in the center there to fit the different joist heights. Alright, I'm going to tie it in. Alright, I got the level back on. I want to verify a couple things. First, this should be about 45 inches. It's exactly 45 inches, so I'm just going to trace a line over the level line so that I don't have to keep this thing on all the time. I'll just do it all the way around for fun. Before I get too much further into rebuilding, I'm going to paint this corner with my favorite stuff here that I used to paint my basement floor in another project. We're done painting. This is going to provide, not only does it look a lot better, which doesn't matter as much because it'll be mostly hidden, but this will provide an additional moisture barrier between the pressure treated 2x6s that I'm going to screw to the walls as ledger boards. Looks nice. So one thing I like to do is to drill these kind of starter holes in the wood at the points I know I'm going to insert the tap cons. I'm putting 4 of them in this board, and I use kind of a fat bit. This allows these heads to sink down in the wood a bit further than they normally would. I'm going to drill about, a quarter to a third of the way through the board, and that just makes it easier to know where I'm putting these in once I get the board on the wall and I need to screw it in, and it allows the tap cons to sink deeper into the concrete. And they just look kind of like this. Here I line up the board against the wall where I want it to go, based on the level line. Then I drill a starter hole through the board where I want the tapcon to go, and then I finish drilling the hole without the board there. Once I've got the first screw in, then the board will stay in place, and I can drill the rest of the holes through the board and the concrete at the same time. Okay, I got my first 2x6 attached. Put 3 deck screws on the end, and I've got it going into my post connector here. This ended up working out pretty well. It's nice and solid. It's connected to the ledger board against the wall. And basically now I've got to do the same thing going this way. Alright, I'm looking pretty level here, so I'm quite happy with how this ledger board went. Everything looks nice and level and flat and at the proper height. I think it looks pretty good. Feels very solid. I was jumping up and down on this thing. It feels good. And just for kicks, I added this support here with 2 tapcons and a mending plate to connect everything together. This is going to be, it's connected to the corner of this one as well as this board, so that corner is very well supported, and feeling good about my progress here. Okay, I'm adding in 2 joists for the floor, basically building this part the same way you'd build a deck. Now, the spacing on these joists is a bit funny. I want them to line up with the stair stringers, but because my basement has a weird curve where the wall and floor meet, I can't put them perfectly up against the wall, and it's throwing off some of my measurements. So that's why the spacing might look weird here. Okay, I set one of the stringers up just to plan this out. This top piece does sit a little bit lower than I expected. You know, it said the ideal height was 45 inches, which is this line here, but it stops here, and which means the one in the center, one of the holes will be in the air here, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to attach that. So I'm using these things as my actual stairs, or the tread and risers. I do want this to look reasonably good, and that's usually just something I'm not capable of, so happy to outsource this. Get these pre-made, it'll look nice. I do already know where my stringers are going to attach. I drew lines here, here, and here. They are going to be arranged in a weird way because of this weird curve angle thing I have around the corners of my basement. It's kind of hard to see. The other stairs had this problem too, and I'm going to have it, so the stringers are going to be spaced strangely, but at least I already know the distances, so I'm going to mark the same on these treads. Cut them, put the stringers together with the treads on them, and then hopefully everything lines up. Okay, I just hung these stringers on temporarily because right now I'm just trying to get everything aligned properly, or good enough. Because I'm hanging these at a weird spacing, because of this sort of lip I have on the corner of the wall, I'm just getting it set up here first. I'm going to put a tread up here and then maybe one in the middle, And then I'm going to take this whole piece back off and put all the treads in when it's not installed temporarily, because especially once I get toward the bottom, it's going to be impossible to reach up and screw these treads into the stringers. So that'll keep the stringers hopefully in a straight line. The treads and risers get screwed in from the underside of the stair stringers like this. I went with metal stringers because they're way thinner than wood, and they give me a bit more room for storage underneath. Keep in mind your deck does need to be a specific height for them to line up if you're going to go with metal stringers. That's why earlier I was making sure that my deck was exactly 45 inches off the ground. So in this post here, I've got this joist holder, and there's just metal on the top hole here. So I'm gonna drill a little hole through this so I can sink another screw into there. I'm going to try to line all the screws up. I hate it when the screws are all, wavy and stuff, so I'm going to try to line it up so everything is straight. I got these really nice boards for the decking because, again, I wanted someone else to make them look good because I sure wasn't going to on my own. But they were prone to splitting on the edges if I screwed straight through, so I ended up pre-drilling all my holes. Other than that, these boards worked out great. And even though I feel pretty good about my concrete attached ledger boards, I figured it wouldn't hurt to spend another $20-25 for another 4x4, and I have 2 additional posts going to the ground. At the end of the day, I am a bad homeowner trying to get this stuff done myself, save some money, so I opted to go for both belt and suspenders here. Okay, just a quick progress update. I'm almost done. I'm cleaning up here a little bit. I started framing out a tiny wall for just to put a pegboard here, help with storage. Got my brace installed here between these 2 piers. I still want to put another kind of maybe 45-degree angle brace against this back pier. But overall, things are looking pretty nice. I just need to get all my crap off of it. It feels really good to walk on, and wrap up soon. Alright, it's all done. I think it turned out pretty nicely. This corner is transformed. I've got all kinds of new storage now, both underneath the miniature deck here and on the walls. I put pegboard everywhere to try to help me organize my basement a little bit. Put a pegboard over here that I haven't really plugged in yet, but I'll get that going. These are the stairs. I think this looks really nice. Not sure yet if I'm going to stain these, but in any case, even as they are unstained, it's a huge improvement. You don't wobble anymore, and everything's nice and solid. Everything looks good, and yeah, I put pegboard everywhere. Huge fan. Instead of this dark, weird cubby hole over here that was doing nothing, I put pegboard up, and I put a motion activated light on the top so that you can actually see what you're doing. One thing I really like is this handle right here. This is just this thing was, I don't know, 15 bucks on Amazon. I guess these are what, 1/2-inch pipes. and just sort of screws into this 4x4. I put another one up here, just to, it's hard to put a railing here exactly. And if I did, then I wouldn't, I use this door to, you know, get big stuff through sometimes. So having a railing here would make that difficult. But having this handle here is super handy. Yeah, overall, I'd say pretty successful project.